A Step into the Past Volume 19 Chapter 6. Book 19 Chapter 6, Rays of Light Shooting in All Directions. Lao Ai and Xiang Xiaolong rode out together, their horses leisurely pacing through the ancient streets of Xianyang. The 18 guardians acted as their vanguard, clearing the road in front of them, while Lao Ai's personal bodyguards followed behind. Because an assassination attempt had been made not long ago, everyone was on high alert and dared not to be relaxed. Han Ji, Lao Si, and Ling Qi followed directly behind the two of them, but there was still some distance between them, allowing the two of them to freely exchange their innermost thoughts and plans. The last traces of humility slid away from Lao Ai's face, leaving behind a silent face, frozen like ice. After riding for the space of time it takes to drink half a cup of tea, Lao Ai, staring at the next street down which was covered in torchlight, said in a low voice, "Lu Bue really goes way too far." Xiang Xiaolong listened to the sound of their horses' hooves echo in the silent street. Sighing, he said, "Given the current situation, I would recommend that the inner custodian continue to exercise restraint for now. There's no need to directly clash with him for the sake of a woman." Lao Ai ground his teeth. "Brother Xiang, didn't you see that look of helplessness and pain on Mimi's face? Her heart is actually with me." Xiang Xiaolong, recalling the look in Dan Mimi's eyes as she left while crying, couldn't help but imagine her beautiful torso being pressed down by Lu Bue's foul body. Smiling bitterly, he couldn't give voice to what he wanted to say. With a quiet growl, Lao Ai spoke the words in Xiaolong's mind. "I am going to kill Lu Bue." Xiang Xiaolong glanced aside at Lao Ai, just as Lao Ai turned to look at him. After the exchange of glances, Xiang Xiaolong said, "Let's not discuss the question of whether or not you can kill him. First, please consider that if Lu Bue were to actually die, Qin would immediately fall into chaos. Brother Lao, please reconsider." Lao Ai's lips tightened, as though he had tasted something bitter, and he let out a depressed sigh. In his heart, Xiang Xiaolong also sighed. He really was too sentimental. Even though he knew that Lao Ai was a man who was as rapacious as a wolf and savage as a dog, and was filled with malice towards himself, he still felt pity for him upon seeing him be oppressed by Lu Bue. He decided that really wasn't the right sort of person to get involved in politics. He was too soft-hearted towards his enemies. At this moment, they arrived at a four-way intersection. To the left was the Ganquan Palace of the south, while the path in front led to Xiang Xiaolong's home. Lao Ai halted his horse, and the entire procession came to a halt as well. Xiang Xiaolong knew all too well that Lao Ai was headed towards the Ganquan Palace, so as to complain to Ziji while in bed with her. He instantly felt extremely uncomfortable. With an effort, Lao Ai forced his spirits to rouse. "Brother Xiang, are you intending to kill Chu Risheng tomorrow?" Xiang Xiaolong couldn't help but give Lao Ai a little bit of face on this matter. Smiling, he replied, "Brother Lao, I'll listen to your instructions on this matter." Lao Ai didn't expect Xiang Xiaolong to be so willing to give him face. Shocked, he said, "Brother Xiang, you really are a good friend. I know all too well that Chu Risheng really went too far today. But he still remains slightly useful to me. Brother Xiang, please just teach him a lesson." Xiang Xiaolong calmly said, "I will act as you request, Brother Lao." Seizing the opportunity, he asked, "What is the nature of the relationship between yourself and Pu Hu, Brother Lao?" Lao Ai frowned, responding only after a long pause. "Right now, he is desperately fawning on me and trying to gain my favor. I don't see any risk in him doing so, which is why I accepted him. This man has an enormous amount of influence in both Qin and Zhao. In the past, he always colluded with Lord Yang Chuan. Now he is lacking a powerful supporter. After seeing that Dubai isn't that useful, it's natural that he would look for a different patron." Upon hearing these words, Xiang Xiaolong immediately knew that Pu Hu had given Lao Ai many great gifts. He decided not to expose him. After bidding each other farewell, the two of them went their separate ways. By the time he returned to the Wu family manor, it was around 9 or 10 at night. Many rooms were still lit, showing that most people had not yet gone to sleep. Wu Guo was preparing to escort Zhou Yan out of Qin. Zhou Yan was dearly beloved by every single person in the Wu household. At this moment, Zhou Yan was in the main courtyard, energetically discussing the sights they would see on this trip. Listening to him talk, Ji Yanran, Zhao Dai, and the others couldn't help but burst into laughter time and time again. He was one of those people who could take an extremely dull topic and make people very excited and be willing to discuss it. Everyone looked cheerful, while the Tian sisters laughed hardest. Teng Yi and Shan Lan sat off to one side in a corner, enjoying the friendly atmosphere. Because Jing Jun was on night duty tonight, he wasn't present. After spending so much time in a backstabbing, deceitful atmosphere, Xiang Xiaolong felt his heart grow warm as he returned to this loving, friendly place. Seeing him return, Wu Guo hurriedly stood up and saluted. Master Xiang has returned after a night of hard drinking. As soon as he spoke, everyone present roared with laughter. Teng Yi stood up. Laughing, he said, "It's late. Let's talk tomorrow." Everyone departed merrily, leaving only Ji Yanran and the other ladies, Teng Yi and his wife. Ji Yanran gave him a glance. "I thought that milord husband wouldn't be returning tonight." Protesting innocence, Xiang Xiaolong said, "Worthy wife, did you think that I wanted to fool around with the likes of Lao Ai and his men? But in truth, tonight was a very profitable night." Teng Yi immediately questioned him, and Xiang Xiaolong explained all which had happened. Shan Lan angrily said, "Lu Bue really is a shameless scoundrel. But Lao Ai isn't exactly a good person either. It'd be best if they both dropped dead." But Wu Tingfang was interested in something else entirely. Was she So Feng very beautiful? Xiang Xiaolong tactfully replied, "I suppose she's not bad, but how can she be compared to our Fang'er's beauty?" Wu Tingfang immediately beamed with joy and no longer questioned him. Teng Yi said in a solemn voice, "Third brother, tomorrow, are you really going to forego your plan of killing Chu Risheng, all for Lao Ai's sake?" Xiang Xiaolong sighed. Thinking on a deeper level, it isn't a good time to get rid of Chu Risheng. The more foes Lu Bue has, the better. Changing the topic, he asked Ji Yanran about how the Black Dragon was proceeding. Beautiful eyes flashing, Ji Yanran leisurely replied, "With Yanran in charge, milord husband should set his mind at ease." Teng Yi stood up. Stretching lazily, he said, "Everyone should go get some early rest so we will be energetic tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll go to that failure of a martial school and show everyone that we aren't to be provoked lightly." Zhao Ji laughed. "Our master Xiang has now become accustomed to taking a stroll around the Drunken Wind Pavilion before battle. But this time, I think no one will dare to wager that he will lose." Laughing, everyone retired to their rooms. This morning, due to spring having almost arrived and a new year to begin, every household in Qin was discussing financial matters. Lu Bue was in charge of handling the national economy, and had prepared a surfeit of documents long ago. A full month in advance, he had submitted a complete and detailed national budgetary report. Overall, he had increased the national income by increasing taxes, for the purposes of funding large-scale military maneuvers as well as the construction of the Zhenqiu Canal. Over the past few days, Xiao Pan, Li Si, Lord Chongping, and Wang Ling had been engaging in non-stop private talk regarding financial matters. Because Xiang Xiaolong knew nothing about finances, and had been preparing non-stop for his battle with Guanzongzi, he managed to avoid this unpleasant discuss. By the time Lu Bue had finished once more discussing his budgetary report in detail, all of the military and civil officials had been standing for 4 full hours. Xiao Pan, showing uncommon generosity, had ordered people to prepare sitting mats to allow those present to sit. After finishing his narration, Lu Bue energetically said, "The way of finances lies in increasing what needs to be increased and decreasing what needs to be decreased. in using things appropriately. Right now, our great country of Qin is very wealthy. Our supplies of grain are piled as high as mountains, our population is flourishing, the nation is rich and powerful, the commoners are happy, and the nobles are pacified. Naturally, we should increase our revenues by increasing taxes and fearlessly advancing east. Only by continuing our conquests can Great Qin continue to be strong militarily and financially. Ever since the founding of Great Qin, this is the best opportunity for unifying the world. When Liu Bui sat down, all the other officials immediately followed. Zhu Ji was definitely not particularly skilled in this area, and so could do nothing but nod. Xiang Xiaolong could tell that Liu Bui was secretly suggesting that Qin's present successes were all due to his own hard work. Naturally, Xiang Xiaolong didn't wish for Qin to wholeheartedly invade the east. But, since he had no basis of rebuking Liu Bui, he could only sit in angry silence. Fortunately, Xiao Pan and Li Si had come to a different conclusion through their deliberations, and so did not express approval. The likes of Wang Wen and Caize immediately rose up and sang Liu Bui's praises, claiming him to be a brilliant statesman and a master warrior. Xiao Pan lightly said, "Left Premier, do you have any opinions?" Lord Chongping roused himself and stood up. Moving to the center of the hall, he faced the royal dais, upon which sat Xiao Pan, Zhu Ji, and Liu Bui. Ever since Xiao Gong defeated Chu and Wei, our great country of Qin has expanded our territory vastly. We have dominated Sanchuan to the east, and incorporate the territories of Ba and Shu to the west. To the north, we have tended to the Shang prefecture. To the south, we have taken over Hanshong, pacified the 9 barbarian tribes, and have restricted the movements of Zhou and Chu. Meanwhile, the other 6 countries continue to eye us suspiciously, concerned about the rise of Great Qin. And more recently, we have taken over the 3 eastern provinces. Our goal right now should be to increase the prosperity of the people and consolidate our holdings. Moreover, right now, the Zhenqiu Canal is costing us a large outlay of funds. A large number of farmers have been drafted to assist in the construction of the canal as well, which means their farmlands now lie barren and unused. With regards to the matter of increasing the taxes, I would like to ask the Crown Prince to consider thrice before acting. Before Xiao Pan had a chance to express his thoughts, Wang Wen sneered, "Left Premier, your words are in error. Great Qin is a land of abundance and plenty, easy to defend and easy to launch attacks from. To the left of the central plains are the territories of Zhuai, Han, Yalong, Shu, and Huayi, which are very fertile and rich. To the south, we have the fertile grounds of Ba and Shu, while to the north we have our vast grasslands. All 3 of these sides are guarded by tough defenses, while the opening to the east is heavily fortified and our soldiers there well stocked and equipped. The cost of building the Zhenqiu Canal is but a drop in the bucket of our finances. The territories of Ba and Shu are more than enough to cover its costs. Crown Prince, please inspect my words for truth." Meng Ao added, "Ever since the days of King Zhaoxiang, our great Qin has spared no effort in advancing eastwards. Not only have we seized large swaths of territory belonging to Zhao, Wei, Han, and Chu, we have also exterminated over 10 million enemy soldiers in hundreds of large battles and have greatly weakened the combat strength of the eastern kingdoms. Right now, we can see that in the 6 kingdoms, the commoners are poor, the ancestral clans are weak, and the governance is chaotic. At such a time, when they are weak and we are strong, when Great Qin holds an advantage in geography, weather, manpower, and force, if we were to waste this priceless opportunity, how could we face the late king?" Xiang Xiaolong, seeing Lord Changping's face change color several times, knew that things weren't looking good. Although Lord Chongping was resourceful and full of intelligence, but in terms of experience, how could he be a match for the likes of Liu Bui or Wang Wen? There would come a certain point or time in a debate when he would be unable to come up with an effective retort. The annual budget which Liu Bui presented today really was an effective and carefully thought out plan for seizing more power. Liu Bui had a wide amount of discretion when it comes to collecting tax, and by increasing taxes, his control over the army's budgeting would increase as well. As soon as Xiaopan and Zhu Ji approved, Liu Bue would be able to do as he pleased to benefit himself and harm others. Generals like Huan Yi would have to defer to his desires all the more. Xiaopan could perhaps maintain control over the 3 military commands in Xianyang, but all the armies outside of Xianyang would naturally fall under Liu Bue's sway. Thus, he absolutely had to contest this. Lord Chongping was silent for a long time, then suddenly laughed loudly. "Would Lord Li Si please come and present your findings to the Crown Prince?" He actually called Li Si to the front. Xiang Xiaolong and Xiaopan immediately relaxed. They knew that this was the best tactic to use in a time when one had no strategies available. As the senior historian, Li Si normally should only be fit to act as Xiaopan's Secretary General and handle his letters and documents. But now that Lord Chongping had called on him by name, it would be hard for others to object. Wang He and Wang Ling were military officials. They were outstanding when it comes to questions of warfare and leading armies, but when it comes to politics and economics, they were far from being a match for the likes of Liu Bue and Wang Wen. Just like Xiang Xiaolong, they were unable to assist. Only Li Si, this minister who would be legendary for thousands of years after his death, would be a suitable opponent. Li Si was secretly elated. He gladly stepped forward towards the dais to speak in Lord Changping's stead. After paying the proper respects, he said with an air of confidence, "The unification of the world is the national strategic objective of Great Qin. No one holds any doubt about this. Right now, if this administration were to angrily rock the boat, if we aren't careful, the entire ship will capsize and all hands on board perish. Misfortune can quite easily heap upon misfortune, which is why we absolutely cannot be hasty. We should first observe the common sentiment, then act accordingly." Caize clearly held Li Si in contempt. With a somewhat disdainful air, he said, "This old minister, under the instructions of the premier mentor, has done a full investigation of every single prefecture in Great Qin and has assigned taxes according to local conditions. We definitely won't act rashly. The senior historian really worries too much." Still beaming, Liu Bue said, "Lord Inner Historian, if you were to personally inspect my proposed budget, you would understand that this budget which I, the premier mentor, have presented to the Crown Prince, is a thoroughly researched, all-encompassing budget which has cost countless man-hours for accuracy's sake. Great Qin's future fortune lies within this budget. Would the Empress and the Crown Prince immediately approve it, so that we may begin our work immediately?" All of the officials there chimed in with approval. Lord Chongping and the others immediately began to frown mightily. Only Xiang Xiaolong remained calm and unhurried, knowing that Li Si would definitely have a brilliant counter-response. Li Si really did smile naturally in response. The so-called understanding of the public sentiment must be grounded in fact and evidence in order for others to be convinced. According to the premier mentor's intentions, out of all the prefectures, Shu and Ba would have the most severe taxes. But that absolutely must not be the case. Liu Bue didn't expect that Li Si would dare to openly dispute with an old business boss like him. Face changing, he unhappily said, "Taxing the rich heavily, taxing the poor lightly. This is the basic, golden rule of finance. Ba and Shu are wealthy, abundant areas. Great Qin should take some of their wealth and spread it around the world. Senior historian, why do you say such a thing?" Li Si wasn't the slightest bit frightened by his severe words and fierce countenance. Remaining calm and composed, he said, "Ba and Shu are not just the base upon which Great Qin grows. They are also a critical strategic region. If our armies there follow the Min River south, within 5 days, they can arrive at the capital of the Chu Kingdom. It is a critical region for any campaign to consolidate the southwest or attack Chu. In order to consolidate and strengthen our rule over Ba and Shu, we must administer it in accordance with the situation on the ground and rule with a benevolent, gentle manner. But this humble official cannot see this important point in the premier mentor's budget." After pausing for a moment, he began to speak with even stronger points. You must know that although Ba and Shu have abundant natural resources, there is a relatively small amount of people living in that wide expanse of land. Many parts of it still engage in simple, slash-and-burn cultivation of farmland. If we were to suddenly increase their taxes, I'm afraid that the people there might not be able to withstand the additional pressure, resulting in less revenue despite the increased tax rate. Furthermore, there are many barbarian tribes in Ba and Shu who are formidable warriors and who love to give battle. If popular sentiment were to be roused against us, even if we were able to quell any uprising, it would cost us greatly and increase their hatred towards us. It would be better if we were to lower the tax rate and cause the people's hearts to turn towards us. This would be the best plan. In this humble official's opinion, having a strong and stable footing in Ba and Shu is more important than any economic considerations. Would the Crown Prince, the Empress, and the Premier Mentor please consider my words? Xiao Pan's royal gaze immediately gleamed with light. Lifting his voice, he said, Li Si's words are reasonable. We should first enrichen the people before we take money from them. This really is correct. When considering the question of struggling for supremacy in the world, what does 1 or 2 years matter? What's more, the amount of money being spent on the Zhenqiu Canal is significant, and can in no way be described as a mere drop in the bucket. If we were to exhaust the resources of the two regions of Ba and Shu, it will cause public sentiment to turn against us, at which point, we really would be unable to face our late royal father. Xiang Xiaolong secretly exclaimed at the brilliance of it all. The power of Li Si's argument came from him changing the discussion from economics to military strategy. Although he had focused all of his ammunition on just that single point, he caused listeners to feel as though the entire budget proposal was riddled with holes, and that it did not really take public sentiment into account. And Xiao Pan definitely would not fail to live up to his reputation as the world-conquering emperor of the future. Following the opening which had been given, he used the excuse of the Zhenqiu Canal's construction to repudiate Lu Bui's plan to increase taxes. After he spoke in such a way, aside from a limited number of people such as Lu Bui, none of the officials present dared to object any further. Lu Bui still hadn't had a chance to speak. Li Si continued, with regards to the 3 eastern provinces, although a tax cut is proposed, that will not be enough to satisfy the populace. In this humble official's opinion, it would be better if we lightened the local laws and punishments. Right now, Great Qin doesn't suffer from a lack of punishments, it suffers from punishments being too heavy. A person who steals a single coin is punished severely, and anyone who doesn't report the crime suffers the same penalty. The crime is light, but the punishment is heavy. Why must the punishment be so heavy? In places like Ba, Shu, and the newly conquered provinces, imposing such harsh punishments will only cause the people's hearts to harden against us. This will be greatly disadvantageous to our plan of unifying the world. This discussion had already ranged far astray from Lu Bui's budget recommendation, but it was firmly on track regarding the question of unifying the world. This clearly came from Li Si's long pondering and was not something which Lu's clique could match. A ferocious, ugly light flickered in Lu Bui's eyes repeatedly. Just as he was at a loss as to what to do, Li Si continued to speak. In a rich nation's strategy, no matter how many transformations and changes there are, none of them should change the original goal. All strategies should be aimed towards that goal. Places like Ba and Shu have much land but few people. But if we were to sway the people's hearts and promote commerce or subsidize farming, there is a great chance that those 2 places will flourish. Only then would Great Qin be able to use its resources in our aim to unify the world, without destroying the resource in the process. Xiao Pan was ecstatic over what he heard. Slapping his table, he expressed his admiration. Li Si's words are extremely correct. Do my other ministers have anything else to say? Lu Bui and the others were caught totally unprepared. Staring at each other, they did not know what to say, as no one had expected this. Lao Ai left his seat and knelt down, respectfully saying, Lord Li's wisdom can be considered to be greater than that of Lord Shangyang himself. This humble official audaciously dares to request the Crown Prince to make an exception and, with the Premier Mentor's concurrence, restart the budgeting proposal process with Li Si at the head. Crown Prince, please consider my suggestion. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire palace was filled with an uproar. Only Xiang Xiaolong understood that Lao Ai was helping them now out of a desire to avenge the 3 arrows which Liu Bue had shot at him last night. Liu Bue's fierce eyes flashed with angry light as he glared at Lao Ai, wanting to do nothing but rip Lao Ai apart with his teeth and swallow him. Only now did Wang Wen and the others come to realize the normally low-key Li Si's brilliant, awe-inspiring tactics. This was the first time since he arrived in Qin that Li Si had lifted his head up and spoken forcefully, exposing his unusual spirit, showing exactly how he would, in the future, guarantee himself a political influence which couldn't be diminished. How could Xiao Pan not understand the opportunity? He immediately asked Zhu Ji for her advice. Although Zhu Ji felt that it was greatly inappropriate to openly whittle away Liu Bue's authority in such a manner, she couldn't not support Lao Ai. Nodding, she said, "Royal son, do as you see fit." Feeling extremely gratified, Xiao Pan happily said, "Li Si, immediately begin carrying this task out. After doing so, prepare 2 copies, one for ourselves, one for the Premier Mentor. We will confer with the Premier Mentor first before discussing this in audience." Xiang Xiaolong secretly praised this decision. Although Xiao Pan was clearly diminishing Liu Bue's influence and authority, he was also giving Liu Bue a face-saving retreat. At this point, everyone's gaze fell upon Liu Bue as they wondered whether or not he would accept this. Liu Bue clearly knew himself to have been bested in oral arguments, as he couldn't come up with anything to refute Li Si's points. But he still remained a wily old fox, and he actually laughed freely. "Lord Senior Historian, you absolutely live up to the Premier Mentor's expectations. You have accomplished a great deed in the service of Great Qin, and should therefore be rewarded. Why don't you come to my residence, where I will put you in charge of handling taxes and revenues, and thus allow you to do all that you are capable of doing?" Smiling, Xiao Pan said, "The Premier Mentor's words are very correct. But we have, for quite some time, had another position in mind for the senior historian. During the spring sacrifices, I will make it public. Then," he said in a loud and clear voice, "today, we'll stop here for now. All other affairs shall be tabled until tomorrow." Court dismissed. Xiang Xiaolong, waking up, only now realized that noon, the time of his duel with Chu Risheng, had long passed. This day at court had been unusually exciting and unusually long-winded. It had lasted for nearly 5 full sichen, or approximately 10 full hours.